Good day friends, welcome to the lecture series on Fundamental of Investment. In this lecture I will be talking about types of bond. In my previous lecture on bonds, I talked about the different features of bond. That is, when I talk of bond, we are referring to fixed income securities. And amongst the fixed income, in the fixed income securities, the most popular form of fixed income security is bond and debentures. So in this lecture, I will be talking of different types of bonds that is being issued in India and throughout the world. By and large, this has been the practice in the world also. So to start with, there are two types of bond, I can say, secured bond and unsecured bond. When I was talking of the features of bond in my previous lecture, I said one of the feature is that when the bonds are being issued, they can be issued by keeping some collateral. Collateral means security. Suppose a company is issuing bond worth 5,000 crore rupees. So at the time of issue of the bond, assets of the company worth 5,000 rupees are being kept as collateral, and these bonds are called secured bond. The idea is, in case company fails to pay the interest and the principal amount, then this assets against which the bonds have been issued, they will be disposed of, or from these assets the money will be recovered. So that it will create a higher degree of confidence that amongst the investors, that the bonds which they are purchasing, that is the investor or creditors who are purchasing this bond, right, their money is safe, right. So these are these type of bonds where the collateral is being kept, right. So they are called secured bond. On the other hand, unsecured bonds are those where the no collateral is being kept. So unsecured bonds are those which are not secured by any specific assets. Unsecured bonds are riskier in compared to the secured bonds, because in case suppose a company is making continuous losses, and because of the accumulated losses and the continuous losses which the company is making, right, so company is not able to pay the principal amount or interest amount, and at the time of maturity, at the time of paying back, when the time of payment comes, the company fails to make the payment because they have no money to pay. In that case, the bondholders will be in real difficult situation because they will not able to get the money. There is no asset against which they can get their money back, right. So it means that unsecured bonds are more risky, that is, they are riskier as compared to the secured bond, right. So because secured bond almost assure if the good security is being kept, right. So secured bonds are almost sure that the investor will get their interest and the principal amount, right. Convertible and non-convertible debentures. Friends, in order to make the debentures more lucrative, what they do is, the companies at the time of the issue of the bonds, they promise to the bondholders that after a period of time, especially the good companies, I will be explaining this, that after a period of time, a portion of the bond or a full amount of the bond will be converted into equity share, right. These are called convertible bonds. Convertible bonds are those bonds, right, where the bondholders has the option to get partly or fully, depending on the indenture, depending on the terms and condition of at the time of issue of the bond, they will be converted into equity shares. See, especially the good company, when I am using the word good company, what it means is which has a reasonably good equity valuation, right, where the equity share is of good amount. Suppose a company is issuing a bond of rupees 100, right, and at the time of issue of the bond, company promises that after 3 years, 30 rupees will be converted into a equity share, one share, right. And investors expect that this 30 rupees which the company will convert it, giving a share, at that time or even at present, the market price of the equity share is 35 or 40 rupees or any sum of money, more than 30 rupees. So investor feel that not only they will get fixed interest on this 100 rupees up till the time the bonds are not being converted, and after the conversion that the bond will remain of 70 rupees only, because 30 rupees will be converted into equity share, and an investor expects that this 30 rupees will be, equity shares of 30 rupees will be maybe in the market 50 rupees. It's not fixed that all at the time of the conversion the equity share will be 50, but investor expect that it will be 50 rupees. So he will be getting not only the interest amount, but he will be getting the benefit of 20 rupees, because 30 rupees portion is being converted into equity share, and at the time of conversion this 30 rupees it will be equivalent to 50 rupees, because the market price of the equity share at that point of time supposing is 50, so the investor is getting a benefit of 20 rupees. So simply speaking, convertible bonds are those bonds where a part of the money or the full amount is being converted into equity share after a specific period of time, right? So convertible bonds are an attractive investment avenue, as there is a possibility of realizing a long-term capital profit or increase in the market value after a conversion. So friends, the same example which I gave, suppose a 100 rupee bond, it is partly convertible. Only a 30 rupee portion will be convertible. You may ask, what will happen of these 70 rupees? On this 70 rupees, if the bond is for 10 years period, the company will keep on paying the par value of the bond after the conversion of 30 rupees will remain 70 rupees, and the company will pay interest on 70 rupees, not on 100 rupees, and 30 rupees will be converted into equity share, right? So the investor expect that he will be getting capital benefit, because at that time of conversion, suppose a bond is issued for 10 years, and after 3 years company promises to convert this 30 rupees into equity share. So after 3 years, at the time of conversion, the share price in the stock market is 50 rupees. The investor is getting a benefit of 20 rupees by way of capital gain, right? So in case of convertible bonds, the holder gets interest on bonds till the date of conversion and may receive dividend on the same shares after conversion. Means this 30 rupees portion which will be converted into equity share, it will be getting bond, right? Dividend. Suppose it is a fully convertible debenture. Fully converted means the whole value of the bond, the whole par value of the bond will be converted into equity share. A company, say, is issuing a 100 rupee bond, right? And after 3 years, this bond will be converted into equity shares of 2 equity shares of the company of 50 rupees each, right? So up to 3 years, supposing the time period is 3 years, so 3 years on a 100 rupee you will be getting interest, the coupon rate, and after that 3 years, this 100 rupee will be converted into 2 equity share, right? So 50 rupees 1 share. At that time of the conversion, supposing the market price of the share is 90 rupees. So in this way, the investor will get a benefit of 40, apart from the 3 years interest which the investor is getting, or the investor will also get a capital profit, capital gain of 40 rupees on each of the share, right? So this is convertible debenture. So convertible bond may be compulsorily converted or the convertible at the option of the bondholder. It all depends on the terms and condition at the time of issue. Supposing at the time of conversion, suppose the company has promised to convert that 100 rupee into 2 equity share of 50. Supposing the company's share price is 40 rupees. So no bondholder would like it to get it converted into equity share. So if the terms and condition is that it is at the option of the bondholders, in that case only the bondholders will not get it converted to equity share, because if the bondholders get it converted, it will be a loss to the bondholders, right? So the convertible, it all depends at the time of the terms and condition at the time of issue. Whether there will be option or there will be no option, it all depends on the terms and condition which is being determined in advance at the time of issue of the bond. So convertible bonds can be either partly convertible or fully convertible. I have already explained. So partly convertible are those which are partly converted, fully convertible which are full face value of the bond is being converted, right? fully convertible bonds are those in which the full face value of the bond is converted into equity share after a specific period of time. Apart from the convertible bonds, there are non-convertible bonds also. Normally when I say bonds, so bond by and large we have in our mind non-convertible bonds. So non-convertible bonds are those which have no conversion clause. They are not converted into equity shares and are redeemed at maturity as per the specific terms and conditions. If a 100 rupee bond is being issued for 7 years, it means after 7 years the money principal amount will be paid back, and in the meantime whatever the coupon rate is, suppose it is a 8% coupon rate, so for the 7 years every year this rate of interest will be paid to the bondholders. The other types of bond that is being issued in India or that can be issued is zero interest fully convertible bond. What is this zero interest fully convertible bonds? Means in this zero interest fully convertible bonds, no interest is being paid. That's why they are called zero coupon bond during the duration of the bond period, right? Suppose the duration is of 5 years. In this 5 years, the interest will not be paid. So it is known as zero coupon bond. These bonds are compulsorily fully convertible into equity shares of the issuing company after a specific time period not exceeding 3 years. So this period, as per the SEBI guidelines, this period is 3 years. So after these 3 years, where no interest is being paid, this par value of the bond will be converted into equity share. How many equity shares will be paid, will be given by the company? It is all being determined at the time of issue of the bond, right? But during the period of the lifespan of the bond, right, the interest amount is not being paid. That's why they are called zero coupon bond. Then what is the benefit to the investor? The benefit to the investor is that investor expect that the price at which the company promises to give the equity share is less than the market price of the shares which will be there at the time of maturity. If I take my own previous example, 100 rupee bond on which no interest will be paid, which is zero coupon, but company promises to convert this 100 rupees after 3 years into a 1 equity shares. And investors expect that after 3 years the price will be 150, 160, or it may be higher. It's a good company at present. Even in the present also it is a quoted share in the stock market and the price is somewhere around 115, 110 rupees, and it expect that after 3 years even the price can be 140, 150, 160, any price. So in order to get the benefit of this price appreciation, the equity value, right, the investors do invest in those zero coupon bond, right? So zero coupon bonds are those bonds on which no interest payment is being paid during the lifespan of the bond, and after that it is being converted into equity shares. So these bonds do not carry a coupon rate and hence no interest is paid to the bondholders. The return of the bondholders is the difference between the issue price of these bonds and the market price of the converted shares, right? So as I said, is a 100 rupee bond, and supposing after 3 years the price will be 140. So this 40 rupees is the benefit to the bondholders which he or she will enjoy when the bond will be converted into equity share, right? So Mahindra and Mahindra in the past have issued this type of, many companies do issue these zero coupon bond, right? So this is redeemable and unredeemable. Redeemable I have already referred earlier, but let me tell you here also that redeemable bonds are those bonds which are being redeemed, right, after a period of time. So as I said, by and large each bond has a maturity period, right? So when I say 10 years maturity, it means they will be redeemed. Redeemed means paid back after 10 years. Irredeemable bonds are like perpetual bond. They will continue. But in India, the irredeemable bonds are not in practice because there is for infinite period company issues the bonds and it will continue. So practically in India, irredeemable bonds are not being issued. By and large in India, redeemable bonds are being issued. Then secured premium notes. See, many companies are making new innovations with the permission of the SEBI, right? So different companies are making different innovations at the time of issue of the bond. So these secured premium notes are basically non-convertible bonds which are issued with their detachable warrants and are redeemed after a specific period. See, the bonds are not being converted into equity shares. A 1,000 rupee bond is being issued, right? And with this bond, a warrant will be there, right? We call it detachable warrant. That this warrant, after paying a particular sum of money, you can get it converted into equity shares, right? And normally for this, there is a lock-in period. Supposing there is a lock-in period of 4 to 7 years, right? So issued with a lock-in period of 4 to 7 years. Investors can get their secured premium notes redeemed after the lock-in period. Means the 1,000 rupee bond is there. So you will get the 1,000 rupees after a period of time, which is the lock-in period of the bond. And with this bond, there will be a detachable warrant. After paying for this bond, suppose the warrant cost is being kept as 300 rupees. Those who will pay this 300 rupees, they will be allotted equity share. And at that time, when the allotment takes place, the price of the equity share may be very high, right? So the benefit to the company is that for this period of the maturity period of the bond, for the period of the bond, they don't have to pay the regular interest, because the interest will be paid only at the time of maturity. Interest will be paid, unlike zero coupon bond, interest will be paid, but they will be paid at the time of maturity only. And investor has the benefit that they feel that at the time of redemption, they will be getting the share. They have an option to get the share, which will be having a price which is, higher than the price at which the company has promises to convert it. So no interest is paid to the holders during the lock-in period. The redemption takes place in installments after the end of the lock-in period. The amount of the installments includes both interest and the part of the principal amount. The detachable warrants are converted into equity shares within a specific time period, provided the secured premium notes are fully paid. Means because this SPN, secured, normally known as SPN, has also a value the investor will have to pay. Apart from the par value of the bond, this detachable warrant has also a value. So investor will have to pay for this warrant. And after paying the fully paid up warrants, then this warrant will be converted to the shares. But it is at the option of the investor. If investor want to convert this bond, detachable warrant into share, then the investor can get it converted. If he doesn't mind, then the investor will get the money back. So the holder has an option to sell the secured premium note back to the issuing company after the lock-in period. In this case, no interest is paid on redemption. Means this, see, there are two parts. One is the par value of the bond, right? And the other is the value of the detachable warrant. So if it is the option of the investor to convert this detachable warrant into equity share. If the investor doesn't want, then the investor will get the money back, but no interest will be paid on the investment of the detachable warrant. On the par value of the bond, the investor will get the interest, but on detachable warrant, the interest will not be paid, right? So this is secured premium note. In the past, as far as I recollect, Tisco, Tata Steel Company, issued this SPN. So advantage these secured premium notes offers the issuing company is that the company gets immediate cash inflow and there is no burden on interest payment during the lock-in period, because interest is being paid after a period. If I explain this, like what happens, suppose you're starting a project, you're making some big capital investment, you're making major expansion in a company. For that you require 5,000 crore, 10,000 crore rupees. And as all of us know that in large projects there is a long gestation period. Since the gestation period is long, after a period of time only the company will start getting income of this investment. So since during this lock-in period there is no interest outflow, company expects, suppose company is investing 5,000 crore rupees, additional plant and machinery is being created, additional plant capacity is being created, and suppose in a steel plant it will take 3 to 4 years or 5 years in getting the plants installed and making it commercially viable. So after 5 years only you will start generating income. Up to 5 years you are continuously making investment. So the benefit to the company is that this 5,000 crore rupees which the company has borrowed from the investor bondholders, on this 5,000 crore rupees no regular interest is being paid, because company is only investing more and more money. Is not in a position, or to be difficult for the company to pay the regular interest. Suppose this is a 10 years 10% bond, so 5,000 crore means 500 crore rupees the annual interest outgo. If the project is still in the installation process, so there will be no additional income with this interest, with this investment. This investment will fetch an income only after 5 years. So that will be the period which is will be lock-in period, and company expect after 5 years it will start getting a regular inflow of income, because by that time the project will become commercially viable and it will be start generating cash inflows and it will start making profit. So company will not find itself difficult in paying the interest at that point of time. So this is the benefit to the company, that company will not have to pay interest during this lock-in period. Right? Callable and puttable bonds. Friends, in India we do issue callable and puttable bonds. What is this callable bonds? Callable bond is one in which the issuer has an option to redeem the bonds at any time after the end of the specific period but before maturity. If the issuer chooses to redeem the debt, the holder has no option but to accept the redemption value. What does it imply? A company is issuing a bond of 100 rupees for 10 years. And it keeps the option that after 6 years or after 5 years, or any period of time, after 3 years, any period of time, the company has the option, the issuing company has the option to pay back the money of the bondholders. Right? So it has a call option that it is up to the company to pay back after 3 years or not to pay back. If it wants to continue with the 10-year period, it will continue. If it wants to pay back full money or a part of the money, right, it all will be determined in advance at the time of issue of the bond, then it will be paid after 3 years. If it is a callable period is 3 years. Friends, why do the company do this? Suppose, because all of us know that rate of interest keeps on varying in the country. Suppose a company today is issuing a 10% bond at 10% coupon rate. What it means is company will have to pay 10% interest on the face value of the bond. And after some time, the rate of interest starts falling. And after 3 years, say rate of interest is 6% or 7%. Since at the time of issue of the bond, the company has promised to pay 10%, if there is no callable option, so during the entire life of the bond, company will have to pay this 10% interest, right? Or whatever the interest the company has promises as the time of the issue of the bond. After 3 years, when the rate of interest falls and it becomes, say, 7%, means the company is in a position to get the money at 7% rate of interest easily from the market. If it continues with the same bond, the company will have to pay 10% interest. But if it has kept call option with itself, then company after 3 years will pay back to the debenture holders, right? And after paying back, right, it will get the money at 7% interest. So in a scenario where the company expect that rate of interest may fall in the future, so the company keeps this option of, we call it call option, that after a period of time, right, not before that, after that period of time or before maturity. The maturity period is, say, 8 years, right? So company has issued bond for 8 years, but it has kept 3 years as a period, that after 3 years it has an option to call upon. Call upon means to get the money to pay the money to the bondholders, right? So after 3 years, it can any time before the maturity, means between 3 years to 8 years. At any point of time, if the company feels that it want to pay back to its bondholders, it will pay back the money. This is called callable bonds. So because see, investor has a risk that investor at present, if you are investing, keeping in mind that I'll get this much interest, but if the rate of interest falls after 3 years, your money will be paid, right? So at that point of time, you will not be in a position to invest at a higher rate of interest in a bond. So that's why in bonds, in callable bonds, normally if other things remaining same, the price of the callable bond is less in the market. When I'm saying it is being sale and purchase is being made in the market. So for callable bond, the price is less as compared to the other bonds. The other is putable bonds, right? So putable bonds, it is just other side of the thing, that in the putable bonds, the bondholders has an option to get the money back. Now it is not the option of the company. In callable bonds, it is the option of the company. But in putable bonds, it is the option of the bondholders. That company at the time of issuing the bonds, it gives an option to the bondholders that after a period of time, it can exercise the right of getting their money back. If the bondholders wants it, if they so desires, then they will get the money back. If they don't want, they will continue with that predetermined rate of interest. Again, giving you an example, a 100 rupee bond is being issued for a period of say 8 years, right? And it has given a put option to the bondholders that after 3 years you can get your money back. Supposing the rate of interest is 10 years, and if the rate of interest goes up say 11%, 12%, it means that after 3 years, at that time the rate of interest is 12%. So means bondholders will feel that they can invest at 12% rate of interest in the market today. Why to continue with the 10% bond? So after 3 years, those bondholders who want to use their put option, they can ask the company to give their money back. So it is an attraction to the bondholders, it is an attraction to the investors to invest in such bonds, because it is up to the investor to continue with the same bond, or if they feel that they can get a higher level of income by investing after that period of time, say the putable option can be exercised after 3 years. So after 3 years, it is the investors, right? Between 3 years to 10 years, it is the investor at any point of time, they can get their money back. So it is called putable bonds. So in case of a putable bonds, the bondholders has an option to get the bond redeemed at any time after the end of a specific period of time. In our example, this specific period is 3 years. It may be 3 years, it may be 4 years, it may be 5 years. At the time of issue, this period is being given. So bondholders exercise their option of getting the bonds redeemed. If the market interest rate rises above the coupon rate, they do this in order to reinvest the money received at the new higher rate of interest prevailing in the market. So friends, we have talked about callable bonds, putable bonds, right? This is a very important term. These are being used. We have talked about SPN, right? Secured premium notes. We have talked about redeemable bonds, irredeemable bonds, right? And zero interest bonds, non-convertible, convertible bonds. So these are the different types of bonds. I'll continue with this different types of bond. So thank you very much for today.